In 1944, America was deep in World War II, with fronts in Europe and the Pacific demanding millions of troops. The draft system, born from the Selective Training and Service Act of 1940, was the answer to this need. It was the first time in U.S. history that men had to register for military service in peacetime, a controversial move when many wanted to steer clear of Europe's quarrel. But after Pearl Harbor in 1941, patriotism surged, and millions received draft notices. For a typical recruit, the story began on a quiet morning, startled awake by a friend on leave. "Wake up!" the friend shouted. "They've picked you." The letter ordered a physical exam on May 15, 1944. That notice wasn't just a piece of paper. It was a call to change a life. Many in your parents' or grandparents' generation felt this, the mix of dread and duty when the nation called their name. Local draft boards, often meeting in places like lodge halls or schools, became hubs of this transformation. They classified young men, 1A for those fit and ready, 4F for those rejected for health or other reasons. A recruit faced the question, how do I prepare for this? There were a few weeks to settle affairs, saying goodbye to family, friends, and sweethearts. As a friend said in the film, you'll have at least 3 weeks to kiss the girls goodbye. It was a moment both tense and familiar, perhaps reminding you of family stories about young men preparing to leave, unsure if they'd return. The process began at an induction station, perhaps an old lodge hall on Main Street. The air buzzed with nervous chatter, heavy with the smell of antiseptic and sweat. "You'll learn to stand in line," a friend warned, and sure enough, long lines were the first lesson. Recruits were told to strip to their underwear and put their money in a bag to hang around their necks, a small, odd detail, like prepping for a strange journey. "This is where privacy ends," a voice noted, half joking. "Ever dream you're standing in a crowd with no pants on?" This is that dream. Medical exams came one after another. A urine test in a communal trough. An awkward moment laughed off. Chest x-rays, dental checks, eyes, ears, nose. A psychiatrist asked odd questions. "Do you like girls?" With a touch of humor, the reply came, "Crazy about them since kindergarten." These questions weren't just about health. They gauged the ability to adjust to Army life. "They want to know if you've got what it takes to be a soldier," someone explained. The result was classification, 1A for full service, or 4F if rejected. Then it was back home to await the next notice, heart full of both anxiety and excitement. Weeks later, recruits returned to the induction station for formal entry. A quick physical confirmed fitness. Then came the branch interview. Want the Army, Navy, Marines, or Coast Guard? An officer asked. Preferences were noted, but quotas decided fate. "You'll go to the Army," the officer declared, sealing the path. The pivotal moment came standing among others, beneath a 48-star flag, reciting the oath of allegiance. "I do solemnly swear to bear true faith to the United States, to serve them honestly against all enemies." Hearts pounded as the words rang out, marking the shift from civilian to soldier. Soon after, buses carried recruits to a reception center, places like Fort Dix or Camp Grant, where Army discipline truly began. At the reception center, lasting about 5 days, recruits faced a new reality. Buses unloaded amid shouts, "Cover down! Face this way!" Clumsy at first, they learned to march in step. "Left foot! 1, 2, 3, 4, an officer explained. "You'll be here 5 days, learning to do things the Army way. Keep your eyes and ears open, and you'll get along fine." Assigned to a roster with a number, recruits met their sergeant guide. "Listen to him, and you'll learn a lot," someone advised. Another physical exam set a physical profile. What kind of duty, from combat to support, could be handled. At the Insurance and Allotments Building, recruits got pamphlets on dependency benefits $50 a month for wives or kids, if any. Bring a marriage license or your kids' birth certificates, an officer instructed, stressing that the government would care for families. Fingerprinting followed, and because you're a criminal, someone joked, but for routine records. Then came the quartermaster, where civilian clothes were shed for GI uniforms, from skin out. Trying on pants, shirts, boots, recruits caught their reflection. Here's a GI Joe, and it ain't bad. An officer checked fit. How's the shoes, soldier? It felt strange yet proud. Packing gear into a bag, they learned to fold neatly, a skill vital for barracks life. In the barracks, recruits learned to make a bed. 45-degree angles, no wrinkles. A sergeant guided each step, from tucking blankets to pulling tight. Hold this corner, pull it down, fold it in. It was a struggle but got easier. Dinner at the mess hall brought hot stew, bread, and coffee. As someone said, no one's got to twist your arm to eat. After, more marching, legs tired but spirits adapting. When taps played and lights went out, recruits lay in bed, minds racing about what lay ahead. Basic training, the battlefield, maybe a new version of themselves. This process wasn't about one person. It represented millions of ordinary guys walking through the same doors. Think of your grandfather or father. Maybe they shared stories of awkward moments in exam lines or pride in their first uniform. The film frames it as a shared journey, with recruits nervous at first, but adapting through guidance. It doesn't hurt much, a friend reassured with a wink. Just relax and get a laugh out of it. Small moments reflect real experiences. The embarrassment of stripping in a crowd, chuckles when someone botched a bed fold, or unity in marching together. The film drives this home with its final advice. Don't bring prejudices into the army. Take people as they come. Scenes of diverse soldiers marching from city to country echo family tales of how the army taught your forebears about camaraderie across divides. One recruit griped about luggage. What do I do with all this stuff? The reply, just a toothbrush, some socks, and a sense of humor. That's a lesson many veterans carried home: simplicity and optimism. These details stir personal emotions. Maybe your granddad told of learning to march, or your mom kept letters from the barracks. Those moments weren't just discipline, they were growth, as recruits learned to put duty over fear. The film doesn't show the battlefield, but it hints at challenges ahead and the strength recruits would find within. The induction process didn't just make soldiers, it shaped a generation. Millions, from small towns to big cities, became the force that led America to victory in World War II. By 1945, over 10 million draftees served, making up most of the 16 million strong military. The process wasn't perfect. Inequities, like segregated units for black soldiers or deferment disputes, persisted. But it also built unity, as strangers became brothers in the barracks. The long-term impact was even greater. Those who went through it brought back discipline, camaraderie, and lessons of sacrifice, shaping post-war America. Dependency allotments and the GI Bill helped veterans buy homes, attend college, and fuel the baby boom you grew up in. These stories live on in your family. Maybe the house your grandfather built with war bonds, or the work ethic he learned in the barracks. Today, the U.S. military is all volunteer, a far cry from that era. But the draft's legacy lingers in veteran support programs, or how we honor those who serve. You might see its shadow in Veterans Day parades, or in a relative's tale of standing in those exam lines. What does this process teach us? It's a story of transformation, from nervous young men to ready soldiers. It reminds us that, in tough times, ordinary people can do extraordinary things. For your generation, raised on World War II stories, it's a call to reflect on family legacies. If our forebears could endure long lines, awkward exams, and uncertain futures, what can we learn today? Dust off those old photos, Read those barracks letters and share this process with your kids or grandkids. It's not just history, it's the thread tying you to the past. A reminder that unity and resilience can change the world. As the film says, bring a sense of humor and you'll be fine. What memories of those days linger in your family? Share them and keep the legacy alive.